share all my merits with you for everything I've done as a monk, and also rejoice in all your merits too. So Satu mo patnabuhay.
So Kumpan, that was so touching for me, and this was actually just this past Sunday, and I lost it myself when I was listening to the Venerable. I didn't realize it would affect me so much, and it just did, because, you know, sometimes people cry because someone else is crying, but I cried because I was reflecting on my own life. That is my mother right there, behind who I am today, behind my commitment to coming to the center was her. And, you know, I had so much gratitude knowing that my mom is still alive and I can go home and thank her. And it just hit me so much. I had to leave this meditation center because I couldn't believe how hard I was falling. And because I didn't realize, it just never dawned on me that, you know, I know my mom is my virtuous friend, but I forgot about all the good deeds that she does on my behalf. All the time, even now, 9 out of 10 times, I don't even know what it is. It's always just, you know, charitable things that she's doing, and she'll just tell me to rejoice in the merit, even today. So, you know, just thinking about that, I was just really touched, and I wanted other people who can relate to also see this as well. And if you have children, know that you are a true role model, because, you know, it makes a big difference in terms of helping to cultivate good deeds, and that is what my mom did for me. And the reason why it's important is because I'm sharing my story, and without her behind me, I wouldn't have that story to share. Just like Venerable Nick, who mentioned that without his parents and his background, he wouldn't be a Buddhist monk. The same thing, without my mom, I wouldn't be as committed as I am today to cultivating good deeds through being a part of the center. And I've been doing it for a long time. Like, I didn't even realize how long, because you just do things until, I think Venerable Michael asked one day, like a group of us, just our story. And it just so happened that that day, one of our meditation members talked about the very first meditation class that he had. And of course I knew it was for me. And he had mentioned it, and I said, oh my God, I forgot. That was like in 2004. So it's been a long time. So with that, yes, this is my mom, and she's behind the person that I am, and she has made a big difference in terms of my commitment to building the meditation community and all of the various things that I've done since. So, and then too, on top of that, I do want to share a picture of my family, because without my mom and also my brother, I wouldn't have had the courage to start this meditation group, which we started meeting in 2008, and we stopped meeting in 2019. Now this is consistently. This is a commitment that I did every Wednesday and every Sunday for 10 plus years. So, you know, I mean, you're really committed at a different level when you've done that. And how the meditation community started was actually a encouragement from my brother, because I had no interest in being involved. I didn't meditate, I didn't care. I was having too much fun, had too many friends. And the Venerable Bunshu, and yeah, I just have to make sure because I will ramble and just deviate if I don't have something in front of me. But no, Venerable, his name is not Bunshu, Sombun. He was a Venerable at the time. And this was in 2007. He really wanted to do a meditation class, and my mom volunteered me, and I had, you know, I was actually upset with her because I didn't want to do it. It's just more work for me. And I'm like, Mom, that's your thing. I don't even go to the center. Like, I don't know anything about meditation. I know a little bit about Buddhism. I've done things here and there, which is, of course, the meditation group that I bought together at a friend's house in 2004. But when she asked me to volunteer, or if I could do it, I said no, and I got mad at her because she didn't even ask me, and she said that you're gonna, you know, I told him you do it. And it, you know, when your parent does that, it's just so annoying. So I was like, oh, I'm not gonna do it. But anyways, you know, I felt bad, and I realized wants to teach people. So the least I could do is at least help him. Like, I don't have to go to class. So I told my mom, I will do it as long as I don't have to come to class. I will market the class for you, or for him. So I did, and this was like back in 2007. The very first class that we had was about 10 people. He did it for about 2 months, and then he got sent to Canada. So there goes our teaching venerable. But I thought to myself, you know what? I'm sure there's going to be a teaching venerable that comes in the future, because there was one now. So let me just keep the marketing campaign going and not change anything and let it percolate, so that when we have a teaching venerable who wants to teach, we'll have like a pipeline. So that actually never happened, all right, the teaching monk. But what did happen was I kept getting calls and emails. People would show up at the center, there was no class, and it was becoming a problem. It's like, what do I do? I thought I actually turned off the campaign, but I actually never did. This was our very first class, 2007, but this was before, it was kind of just a one-off. And this is not the teacher that wanted to teach, but he was one of the ones as well. So we had a couple. So and I wasn't there, my brother was. So my brother really kind of kickstarted everything. So what happened was, the Venerable Abbot at the time was getting upset that people were showing up, what's going on, what is Bee doing? And I just realized, you know what, this thing called meditation, whatever it is, it must be important, because I have too many phone calls and emails, and people are randomly showing up. So I was thinking to myself, well, maybe I could do something, because I'm also a recruiter by trade. And at the time we were doing we were like a pioneer at the time. Nobody was doing this because Skype wasn't even working. And yeah, there we are, thank you. That is Venerable Shu. And without him, we wouldn't have a meditation group today, because it was his kindness and generosity in terms of lending his time to teach our meditation class that helped jumpstart whatever we were able to do to make it work. But just to backtrack a little bit, so yeah, I kind of used my 2 cents, and I'm like, you know what, I think I could probably do the monitor and have the Venerable like on the screen, and then we can use like a teleconferencing to make it work. Because the problem is Skype was like in beta at the time, and it would drop calls. It was really, really bad. But, and then before I did that though, I talked to my brother, because I'm like, nah, I can't do this alone, and I'm not going to, because I don't care enough. But if you help me, and he was much more into it than me, much more. Like, he was always very faithful and big into meditation. I was kind of like the black sheep. It doesn't seem like it, but I was, in terms of like meditating and all that, more so than him. Or he was more so than me in terms of his commitment. But he said, Bee, if you do it, I will help. Of course, do it. So that's when I was like, all right, well, if you're going to do it with me, then I've got the energy it takes to make this happen. Because, you need a partner when you're doing anything. And do it alone is just hard work. And so when he said that he was going to do it, that's all I needed. I did it, pioneered it, asked the Venerable, there's our abbot at the time, there's so much interest in meditation, can I do this? And I thought he would be like, sure. It's not that he wasn't, but he's like, you can do it, but it's going to be your thing. Because the problem is our centers are very like, but in order to do anything, you have to have approval. So if we made it like an official thing, it would just be too difficult through the red tape. So he's like, if you want to do it, I will support you, but like, as long as it doesn't interfere with the center, other than using the center, do whatever you want. And I'm like, but Venerable, don't you want this too? And he did, but in the end, everyone was very happy with our results, and so much happened during that year when Venerable, when she was teaching us. I became so committed. I don't know why. I think once you start something, your heart's invested, and it's a symbiotic relationship where you realize the value, which is people are finding value in this that we're offering. So I wanted to be able to help people, and my heart would drop. Actually, Mike, you remember? Yeah, he was one of the first to start joining us. My heart would drop, and this happened every Wednesday. We'd be meditating, Venerable Bhikshu would be leading, closing their eyes, and thing you hear is like ruffles of like aluminum, like when a call's about to drop. Actually, it doesn't do that anymore. Back then it did. It was like paper kind of just like ruffling up. And then my heart would just fall to the ground. I'm like, oh God, it didn't work again. But people kept coming. People never stopped. We always had consistently 15 to 20 people, even though what we had wasn't really like up to par, people were still coming. And I thank Venerable Bhikshu, and I became really invested for some, like at this point, I was really invested. I was really committed to have it work, and it didn't. I mean, a whole year went by, it still wasn't working. And Venerable Bhikshu, as patient as it was, he was actually to the point where he's like, I don't really know if we should be doing this because, we're not really helping people with all these calls dropping. But he's like, if you want to, we'll continue doing it. And I'm like, Venerable, don't give up on us. And the whole Thai community, the staff, they're like, as we started to like progress, we're like, don't give up. There's a reason why it's so difficult. And today with confidence, at the time I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. But today, 1000%, because I can go back to what we did before, it's the truth. When something is so powerful and good, it's not going to be easy. No matter what it is in your life, if you're trying to do goodness, there's always going to be challenges and blockages. And ours was like no other. I kid you not. But we persevered, and today, 10 plus years later, I mean, I have like goosebumps just thinking about what we've been able to do. And if you go to the page, I think you might have to go back. No, back to the front. Sorry, it's kind of hard when you're not driving the slides. Up one, maybe all the way up top, I think. Yeah, there you go. This is all we've done. It's a lot. I didn't even realize that. I just put it together today. And I need this, otherwise I forget times, I forget dates, but there's a lot, and it's just been amazing, the journey and the things that we've been able to do. And I'm not even really looking at the slides anymore because it's really hard to look at the slides and talk. So I'm probably gonna deviate at this point, but Venerable Michael and Venerable Nick asked me, because when you've been doing this as long as I have, it's not easy. You have to be really committed. There has to be something more than, there has to be something else that keeps you going, And the Venerable asked me why. I don't get paid for this. I'm a volunteer. Not only am I a volunteer, I donate a lot of money too. So it's like my resources, my time, everything. So why? Because I really believe in what our pillars are. Our pillars are meditation, acts of generosity, and morality, the 5 precepts. And I live by that. I do those things. And it's power, pure power. And it attracts happiness to you. No matter how tough your life is, you're always going to find brightness within you. And that's pretty powerful. And a friend of mine recently, who comes to the center, actually many of you know him, Simon, asked me, he said, I noticed the same theme for everyone, which is people start to cultivate themselves when something bad happens or they're suffering. For me, that was not my case. For me, I was happy, mid-20s, living life, having a great time, and this was just something I was doing as a volunteer effort that slowly started to chip and become more and more important. And today, I couldn't imagine my life without this meditation center. In the past, you couldn't have paid me to come here. So it's a big difference, so thank you, Mom. From someone who would just donate $1, I kid you not, because my mom was one of the first core members to help build the meditation center back in 1999. The only reason why many of you guys might not see her today is because she had a stroke in January. And that's also probably one of the reasons why it really touched me to hear Venerable Nick talk about his mom, because even today with her stroke, she still does those donations, she still puts my name on it, and I get to thank her because she's still alive. So it's just like, it really hit me at a different level. So when you saw Venerable Nick crying like profusely, it's like powerful when you can relate. So backtracking, anyways, so the thing is, Venerable Michael and Venerable Nick, and see, this is why I try to have slides so I don't deviate, because I'm doing it a lot. But they asked me, what keeps you doing what you do? That's a good question. But I know the answer. And the answer is being able to help someone ordain. That is the highest. For me, everyone else has a different, whatever's going to make them feel good. It can be something as simple as just meditating every day, or just being able to make a donation. I don't know, whatever it is you feel adds value in your life or makes you have that like brightness. But for me, and I've done a lot, but nothing tops being able to help someone ordain. And everyone got to meet him, Venerable Michael. And I was so touched. Can you go to Venerable Michael's slide, please? So I was so touched in 2019 when I got to see Venerable Michael for the first time after ordaining. Oh, and I didn't even put that on there. There's this amazing picture, and that's when he was a student. And I did that on purpose so everyone could see how he looked before he became a monk. Venerable Michael is amazing. He's not a typical story. He has a lot of wisdom, a lot in order to do what he's doing today, which is continuing to be a Buddhist monk and be the light for the world. But what happened in 2019, the highlight, in all honesty, probably of my life, one of them, is when I went to Poppy to visit him. And God, I wish I put a picture on there. I wasn't thinking, but it's a very important moment for me because I wasn't expecting it. So he knew I was coming to Thailand. Me and Panavi were going for training, officially. We had already been guiding classes for a couple of years at that point, but the center really wanted us to be officially official. And I'm like, whatever, I've been doing this for 10 years. I don't need a certificate or whatever. And at that time, me and Panavi had been doing, the guiding, all training for a couple of years at that point. And so we were going into DMR. And actually, there's a picture. Can you show the picture of me and Panavi? It's one of my favorite pictures. It's an amazing, and there's actually an amazing story behind this too. If I have enough time, I'll share it. But, and that's just me helping on Sundays. If you come on a Sunday, you'll know I do a lot of the translations, which has been helpful to help integrate people who want to grow their cultivation of goodness, is to come on Sundays. But yeah, that's such an awesome picture. I love that picture. Especially because me and Panavi, everyone randomly sat. It was like 50 people, and everyone just grabbed a seat wherever they wanted. It was very random. So it was just very amazing, a coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidences. So the fact that we both walked together carrying a candle, and we were both from the same center, but we randomly were showed up together to put our candle on the table when there were 50 random people and 50 seats, but yet we happened to sit at the seat that would bring us together. So kind of cool, really. It couldn't have been any more perfect. But that year, actually after this retreat, which was really difficult, I thought, because we had to get up at 4 in the morning. We had to uphold 8 precepts. I mean, I can uphold the 8 precepts very easily, except for the eating after midday. That's hard. That is a hard one. But I did it for 2 weeks, and I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Actually, 4:30. She probably would get up at 4. I think I was probably a little late, but I did it, and it was just so cleansing, and I loved it. That experience was amazing. So, you guys mark your calendar because we are going to Pape for sure. So I went to go visit Venerable Michael at Pei, and we were there for a weekend. And, I should have bought some pictures of that because that was really cool too. I have lots of pictures. I mean, just sorting through pictures takes way too long. Our meditation group alone has over 2,000 plus pictures, probably even more than that. Yeah, I went through Facebook today trying to grab pictures for you guys that I'm not even really showing you. And it took a while. But I'll never forget. So it was a weekend retreat, and Venerable Michael was like, come to this if you can. So it was very random. It was just one of the weekends. So I was expecting maybe 5 people, maybe 10. I don't know. As Lainey came with me, she was my partner. Panavi had to go back to the U.S. because she does have a practice, but we were able to stay a little bit longer. So we went to Pape, and it's beautiful. I mean, you've got tree houses, and it was a whole nother experience. DMR was very very modern and clean and air conditioned and good running water. I mean, Pei was in the forest and the mountains, a whole nother experience, but nonetheless, it was nice to kind of have the two. But right before I was about to leave, and Venerable Michael took really good care of us. But let me backtrack. So Eslini was like, B, how many people do you think are going to be at this weekend retreat? And I'm like, well, since it's just one of those random weekend retreats, they do it every weekend. I can't imagine people going there consistently. I was thinking, 5 people maybe is what I'm expecting. There's 20. That's just a random weekend. They do it every weekend, so you don't think every weekend there's going to be that many people if you're doing it consistently. And these are people that come from all around the world. I mean, Europeans, Australians, New Zealand people, every country you can think of. It was just amazing. But right before I was about to leave, Venerable Michael was like, I have something I want to give you. I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. And thinking it was I don't know what it would have been, but I thought it was sweet of him to have something for me. So I went, and I wish I had a picture of it. It's on my Instagram. Anyone wants to follow me, so you can see the picture. But I'm kneeling, and then he says, I'm walking right behind him up one of the tree houses, and then he turns around and he says to me, I saved this for my first teacher. And I cried. I cry a lot because of the good virtues, but it was just very touching because, I don't know, there's just something very amazing in terms of that feeling that I have that no one can ever take away from me. And seeing what he is doing for the world and knowing that I had something to do with it. I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about it, but more importantly, too, is all of us in this room have that same opportunity because we're connected to the center. If you care enough, you do. Your friend that you bring here, you don't know what's going to happen. Your commitment level, your interest. If you want to cultivate yourself, this is the place. Last Wednesday, I mentioned that this center is a treasure chest. It really is. But you also have to do your work too. Throughout time, we've got teachers coming all the time consistently. What's important is we have a community, we have monks. Monks are our fertile field of merit. Like what Venerable Nick was saying, how difficult it is, we don't realize it. Even if our monks don't speak the best English, they're still representing the good virtues of what a meditation practitioner at the highest level should be doing. We're not even close, 227 precepts. That's another level, So when Venerable Michael asked me last, month or whatever, what was my highest, what makes me do what I do, and it's being able to help ordain people. So at this point, our very first meditation member to ever go and ordain is Gil. He's not here today. We also had Nathan Smith ordain. Venerable Michael is our 3rd ordinate. And then we also have John, who's going to ordain next year. So, to be able to be just having the center and being a part of that in some way, it's just this is what I do, why I do what I do. And in addition, we've also had ordination before. I don't know, I have it somewhere in the slides right there. But Mike was able to ordain along with 5 other members in our community. And this was back in, what year was it? 2000? That was Gil in 2010. Nathan, 2016. Can I just say one thing? Nathan is a very interesting case because he had no interest to ordain, but it was just so that timing worked, and he knew that we had these ordination programs. He was in China. He's an immigration lawyer, and he was in China, and he had like a period where he would have free time. So he sends me an email, and he's like, "B, can you tell me more about this ordination thing that happens in Thailand? I'm interested in doing it." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because he never came on a Sunday. He didn't know any of the traditions or formality that goes. It's not easy, as Venerable Nick said. It's pretty tough being a monk, especially if you don't know what you're getting into. And what was very interesting with him is when he ordained, like 3-month ordination, the very first week he tried to get out. He couldn't, like, it was just too tough. Like the discipline, he just didn't have it. And then he tried to leave. But the tickets were too expensive. It was like $5,000. Like there was no way he could, it just made more sense for him to stay. And if he stays, he needs to stay, with the monastic community. But what's interesting is after his experience, he said that he wouldn't have traded it for the world. It was the best experience of his life. He even wrote a blog about it. So I was very amazed. So, what they train people, and I think just the value that you get and the wisdom that you build is something that is priceless and will last a lifetime. And he said that, right, that picture right there, or not that picture, but he did emphasize in his blog that, like, there's just, it's very touching when you have people put food in your alms bowl for the first time. I can imagine, I would never be able, I'd never be able to experience it, but I could imagine, like, what that might feel like. But I've heard many times that monks, they will, like, get teary when they do that. Yes. Oh, okay, you've experienced that? Okay. you come out for that, Mike? Yes. Okay, all right, good. All right, let me see, let me make sure, like, I don't know, I've deviated, I'm sure. What time is it? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I totally deviated, and I didn't even, like, get to finish everything I was going to talk about, or show you guys any of the slides. I like put these slides together, but I guess I just put it together in case I need it. One thing that I want to leave you guys with is that one of the most important projects that I got to work on, everything builds on everything, right? So it's not like I could have just done this out of nowhere. Like, you have to build on your foundation. That's so important. And now I'm going to deviate because foundation, let's just bring it back to meditation because I can attest to this because this is what happened to me. So the first 2 years of my involvement in the meditation center, and I promise I'll wrap it up soon because I know I've gone over 15 minutes. I didn't meditate that much. I didn't. I meditate only on Wednesdays because I didn't have an example. No one was like, "Oh, you need to meditate every day," because I was kind of doing this rogue style, right? You guys saw me beginning the class today. I was like 100 times like a running rabbit back in those days, trying to like get all the. I didn't have any help except for my brother, having to put all the seats together, having to set up the computer and put it together to make sure that our call will take place with the venerable, having all this anxiety to even see if it's going to work. So, anyways, point is, I didn't really meditate that much, like once a week, because I didn't care what anyone said. I was going to do it on my time. I was going to start meditating as much as I could, depending on my interests. No one was going to force me. I know I want to meditate every day, but I'm not there yet. And I just went ahead and allowed myself the flexibility. So I meditate always on Wednesday. Then slowly it started to become like 5 minutes a day. Then slowly 10 minutes. Except for Wednesdays. We always meditate 4 minutes on Wednesday. And then slowly I built it up into the point where today, and probably within 2 years, definitely, at the 2-year mark, was when I had to meditate every day. And today I meditate close to about an hour. So I know that it works because I've done it myself. So if you're still trying to build a habit for yourself, don't force yourself, do it on your time, but try to be consistent, and all habits start slowly. Because I've met a lot of people throughout my years of volunteering who's like, I'm going to meditate every day. I love this center. Can I help? And I don't see them. You know, it doesn't work that way. You build your foundation, and everything that I'm saying will make sense. You know, my commitment, you'll understand. Just like Venerable Michael, when I told him, when you go to Thailand, you'll understand. And guess what? He's a Buddhist monk. So he's at a whole other level. He's my teacher now. And it's amazing for that experience, you know? Yes, but the project that I wanted to emphasize before leaving is, if you haven't already, this is something I'm really proud of, which is our app. And that's what I'm talking about, the foundation, because I wouldn't have been able to create an app, essentially, for our meditation community. And of course, behind it is a team, but it took a lot of work, it took an idea, and it really came from the meditation group, because we had so many people asking, you know, sharing with each other, oh, you know, Headspace, Calm, whatever. And I knew that apps were starting to kind of like pick up, but I was like, no, we're not gonna, like, that's not our thing. Like, we're, you know, monks, they're not gonna buy into getting on an app. But of course, you know, today they are totally open to it. It's been a lot of work trying to network and talk to our monks to get on the app, but we've got 10 monks on there now. And, you know, it's a great thing for us to utilize as a supplemental tool as well, but two, we can scale it. You know, so, I mean, to be a part of that project, I mean, that's pretty awesome too. So, you guys, we have an app because of you, and of course, it's like definitely 1000% a team, because I'm not a developer, but it's just amazing that I was able to at least spark that seed to kind of make it into a product, and now we have a product. So, if you don't already have the app, download it. It's called Mind Jump. All right, so thank you so much for your time and for listening to me, and for me going over. I do apologize. Next Wednesday, you're going to hear Panavi's story, and then I think Pichia, you'll probably need a class too, because I think your story's going to be long as well. So Ping is like, I just want to talk for 5 minutes, but hey, I'm still going. So we have a lot to share, and Ping has like 25 years of experience here. I mean, she's actually, you know, she's my teacher too, you know, and these are our unsung heroes that we don't, us coming to the center, we don't know what is behind our staff and what they sacrifice. I mean, they're worthy of our respect too. And they don't really get a lot of credit a lot of times. It's just they're always just working and making sure everything runs, you know, so their story is very interesting as well, because they've committed their lives, like, at a whole nother level than myself. So yes, please come next Wednesday for Panavi's story, and then we'll have our staff talk as well. Really, they should have gone today, but this was kind of last minute. Like, didn't get this idea until yesterday, so we'll just kind of play by ear. But at some point, everyone's going to get their story, and then we will also be inviting our venerables to do the wisdom talk at the end. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed our first class ongoing. This is going to be the format. Thank you.
And I'm so sorry I went over. Thanks for staying and listening to me ramble.